Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Econobox garage for another episode in our Bugeye Build. The plan for this week is to get the front suspension parts cleaned up and assessed. I'll be looking for bushings that need replacing, and I'll be checking out the front brakes. Thanks for coming along, and I hope you enjoy this video. So here we have the front suspension components for the left-hand side of the car. We've got the spring hat. We've got one of the trunnion bushings, and these are the bolts for the A-arm bushings. This is the damper, and I've just left the bolts in the holes that they came out of. The spring, and here we have the A-arm, the brakes, or the brake drum, and here's the rest of it here. So before I start assessing things, I'm just going to take everything over to the parts cleaner. And I'll bring them back to the bench once they're cleaned up, and then we'll start to have a look at what we need to repair or replace. Well, there does seem to be a bit of free play in this, but I'm hoping it's just low fluid. So once I get the front suspension all cleaned up, I'll have a closer look at fluid levels and the like. So now that the damper's all cleaned up, I'm going to get started on the hub, and just we'll scrape some of the stuff off there, and hopefully things will start to come apart nicely. And I think I'm just going to start by taking off the brake hoses, take off the soft one, and then there's the hard line that goes between the two slave cylinders. Take the steering arm off, and we'll go from there. Well, I've got some of the grease and grime and what have you cleaned off here, and I've already noticed, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's quite a bit of play on the bottom end there, and so those will have to be definitely replaced. Hopefully the kingpin bushings are in good shape, but we'll find that out a little bit later. Here we have the left side suspension taken apart. A nice clean damper, and I'll get to cleaning off the A-arm itself a little bit later. I was happy when the lower fulcrum pin actually unscrewed. So that tells me that these spots in here are in good shape, so I'll be able to thread a new one back in. I will need to get a new fulcrum pin though, as there's a lot of play in the bottom of the kingpin. The little retaining pin for that, the fulcrum thing there, was took quite a beating when I was trying to get it out. So I'm going to replace the kingpin on this side, the fulcrum pin, this retainer that slides into this little slot here through this hole in the kingpin. That'll all get replaced along with new bushings for the kingpin, which are located here and here on the steering knuckle itself. That'll get cleaned up and the new bushings pressed in there. Brakes I'll be replacing. We're getting really thin on the lining on both shoes, and the drum's a little bit scored. I may see if there's enough there to get that turned, but I'll wait till I've got all 4 drums off for that. I haven't inspected the brake cylinders yet, but they don't appear to be leaking I might just leave well enough alone. Those will be easy enough to replace at a future date. And then the same with the bearings in the hub itself. It spun freely, didn't make any noise. There was no play that I could sense, so I'm just going to clean that up and put it all back together. Again, that's something that can be replaced fairly easily at a later date as well. And also replace the bushings that so this is the trunnion that goes on top of the kingpin, like so. That goes all the way down. That's in good shape. This is the part here that holds that in. Those bushings were perished, so those will get replaced there. I'm quite happy with how things progressed. I'll take a bit more time in the next video on how things actually come apart. Well, that wraps up this week's episode on our Bugeye build. Please be sure to like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And don't forget to hit that little bell icon so that you'll get notified when the next videos come out. Thanks for joining me this week. We'll see you next time.